10 days away. That's it. That's the whole code.
PHNX Sun Devils show, of course, presented by Branded Bills. Make sure you head to brandedbills.com and use code BBPHNX for 15% off your first order. I'm Anthony Totri, joined, as always, by Chicken Little Erik Ruby. We have the one, the only deli man behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. Desert Stro, Emily, Parker, Glenn, David, Chris. We got a loaded chat today. Make sure you hit that like button, you hit the subscribe button, and you drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Not sure if you guys heard it in the cold open or not, but 10 days, count it, 10 days till Arizona State plays football here in 2025. We'll have our season preview show where we lay out some predictions on Friday. So that's just a couple of days away. But today, we figured we'd kind of dive into some of the biggest storylines for Arizona State and maybe which storyline is the most important to a successful 2025 season.
I'm taking you on a ride today.
On a journey.
I'm on a journey through the biggest storylines for Arizona State. I'm excited about this because I tried to make most of them pretty even matchups, but I also tried to throw a couple in there that are little wild cards as well. Some team goals versus some individual goals, coaches and players. There's going to be certain things that you're I've never thought about pitting these two things up against each other before.
And we'll have to.
And the basis is what gets ASU closest to their ultimate goal of winning a national championship.
Okay, so we're saying the ultimate goal is the national championship,
correct,
not a Big 12 championship.
No, I mean, the Big 12 championship is a step on the way there, right? But I mean, basically, in the end of the day, what makes the team the best?
Okay.
Right? What helps this team be at their literal best? If you could choose one of these two things, which one would it be and why? So what we'll do is I have 16 different storylines, accomplishments, whatever it might be, that'll be pitted up against each other through 8 rounds, or 8 rounds at first, and then it'll go down to 4, and then 2, and then we'll end up with the final one, the most important thing, the most important storyline for Arizona State. There's a lot to get into here. I'm excited about the fact that we're only 10 days away.
I can't believe it.
I mean, we said that this was going to be the point where it goes the slowest, right? Where it was the beginning of the month, it'll go by a little faster, and then right here, it's going to get a little slow, and then bang,
it'll be
game day.
And then it's game after game after game, and it's going to be an absolute blast all the way through. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited for the rest of the week. But each and every day at this point is just getting us closer till August 30th. When Mountain America Stadium is going to be rocking, man.
Do we have a new nickname in the chat?
For who?
For us.
What is it?
The PHNX Gigolos?
Sure. We could, Deli Man, how do we feel about that? No. He was going to say something, and then he was like, you know what,
My favorite is when he unmutes the mic.
And then just mutes it again?
And then mutes it again.
He's like, no, I'm not going to even
say
entertain
anything.
that. Yeah, Jacob with a 10 days away. Let's go. Everybody in the chat, feel free to chime in here as we're going through these storylines and kind of these battles here.
We might be arguing, so you might be the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Can I shout out the chat first?
Yeah.
We haven't even told them to follow the lead and be a sheep yet and tell them to leave a like. We haven't even mentioned that yet. There's 10 already.
I mean, come on.
They know.
Chat.
We get our
They
chat
know.
gets it.
They know.
The national champion chat
The national
gets it.
champion.
Remember,
chat.
we are all 1915 national champions here
we are.
on PHNX Sun Devils, as claimed yesterday.
By Erik Ruby.
Yes, for all of us.
Yeah, Zach says, claim the 70 and 75 championship. Follow Auburn's lead. Don't worry, Zach. We're way ahead of you. We're way ahead of you on that one.
All right. Are we ready? You ready to get into it?
Yeah.
Totri?
Yeah.
We
Let's
ready,
do it,
Deli
man.
Man?
Well, before we get into it, let me peel back the curtain a little bit. So currently, I'm typing to put where Jacob's name is right here is where our topic bar is, right?
Yeah.
So right now, I'm trying to figure out what to put on the topic bar, and I tried to put what are the biggest storylines for ASU, and I don't know what combination of keys did this, but I accidentally pressed space instead of B, and it auto-corrected and auto-completed to what are rheumatoid arthritis.
Wow.
I mean,
So
Wow.
that was one
why-
of the craziest
dude.
autocompletes I've ever seen.
It's spoiling one of the verses.
Yeah, exactly.
Rheumatoid arthritis versus
Sam Leavitt Heisman season.
Sam Leavitt Heisman season.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Ecamm knows what's going on, so might as well just reveal it. Okay. The first things first, you mentioned it, Totri.
Oh, I did.
Sam Leavitt Heisman season is going to be one of the big storylines that we get into today. So I figured, like, why not just go ahead and start off with a Sam Leavitt Heisman season? And what about the guy who's snapping him the ball? What's most important for Arizona State this season? Is it Sam Leavitt wins the Heisman, or Ben Coleman is an all-conference center,
Ooh.
not offensive lineman,
An
all-conference center?
Wow.
This or that?
This is tough, man, because I think, we've been on the Sam Leavitt Heisman train since last season ended. And then especially as of late, the whole conversation has been, okay, maybe the one glaring issue with this team is the starting center position.
Sharon just said Erik rheumatoid arthritis.
That's
That
good.
actually
It's
rolls
really
off the
good.
tongue. It rolls off the
My
tongue.
passenger princess, Erik rheumatoid arthritis.
Man, it's not that close, to be honest with you. I think it's pretty clear that it's got to be the Sam Leavitt Heisman season. If we're talking about what's going to get you, as far as you possibly need to go or want to go, in this case, a national championship or the postseason, like, your quarterback is going to take you much, much further than an all-conference center would.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that with Ben Coleman at center, if he turned in an all-conference type of season, that it would have a dramatic impact on the Sun Devils this year.
Yeah, I think obviously it's Heisman, right? And some of these are going to be pretty easy at first. Some of them are going to be tougher. And then, like I mentioned, we're going to be building up and up and up and up. I think with Coleman, though, the interesting thing is it doesn't mean that, like, Sam Leavitt would be bad.
No.
Right? So it's like if Sam Leavitt isn't the Heisman, but is a Heisman candidate, and Ben Coleman's an all-conference center, which we don't even know if he's going to be starting at center, right? We don't know who the starting center is for this team, right? I do think that maybe ends up being a little bit more of a conversation of saying, like, you end up having, one of the best centers in the conference and then a quarterback who's still baseline going to be good, versus right now, we know that Sam Leavitt is a little bit more of a sure thing than whatever's going on at the center position. But I mean, it's a Heisman.
On the same side of that coin, though, just because if Sam turns in a Heisman season, we're not saying that Ben Coleman's bad at center.
Correct.
So that is
100%.
also,
But I think it's a
something to
bigger
throw out
question
there.
mark on the other
Yeah,
way.
I think it's a
But
bigger
you take
question mark.
Heisman.
Yeah, you're taking
'Cause
the best player in college football.
If he's winning the Heisman, then the offensive line is protecting him enough.
The offense,
to
they're
do-
doing enough.
to do.
They're doing enough.
the Heisman thing.
Yeah.
At quarterback.
The
Okay.
Heisman thing.
That was the warm up.
That was a warm up.
That
Yeah,
was the
that felt
warm-up.
like a preseason game.
Let's do-
You're same way, Shane. You feel like it's pretty clear. We're going.
Yeah, I think
Sam Leavitt Heisman.
the tournament bracket creator just kind of made a mistake on that one.
Mm.
It's a
Honestly.
1 versus an 8 seed.
It's
Yeah,
sure. 1
but,
versus 8.
but it was also like they were playing on the same team
Yeah.
because one was protecting the other, making the other better. One was eating each other alive.
There's gonna be a couple where they're on the same side of the ball, and there's gonna be a couple that aren't. So let's go to one that aren't on the same side of the
Okay.
ball. Completely different things here. Xavion Alford is the best defensive player in the Big 12, or all 3 running backs combined for 2,500 all-purpose yards, which would be more than what Cam Skattebo had last season for Arizona
By
State.
what, like 100 yards?
About like 150. So you end up getting more production from your running back room total than Cam Skattebo last year, or Xavion Alford is the best defensive player in the Big 12.
Ooh, this is definitely a little bit more of a challenging one here. B's already given the running back answer. Part of me is like, offense entertains and defense wins championships, right? And I think to have the best single defensive player in the conference would make a pretty dramatic difference for this defense. But I also think, like, if we're talking about the running back position and all offseason, we've talked about Raleek Brown and Kyson Brown and Kanye Udo and what they're capable of, and the whole question of, you're trying to replace Cam Skattebo, who had the single greatest season in ASU running back history. Like, to get more production from your running backs than you did last year, I think would be it would be ridiculous considering what we just saw last year.
It would be 3 combined into one.
Still, though, it's all-purpose yards, so it's not just on the ground.
Yards. It's not just on the ground. It would basically be like, like Kyson Brown breaks about like maybe 1,000 yards on the ground. Raleek maybe a little bit more in the passing game. Kanye puts up like similar numbers. I mean, it basically breaks down to like, how much can each individual player get? Because if you're doing 2,500, I mean, it's kind of funny that we're doing it like, how can 3 people do it when literally like one guy did it last year?
Yeah.
But it means that all 3 of these guys, are either contributing all on like an equal level, or one of them like takes the reins and the other ones are a little bit more supplemental.
I mean, realistically, we're talking then like one of them goes for 900 all-purpose and the other 2 go for 800 all-purpose. Is like, if you're just doing if it's kind of like a split workload there. I think this is definitely out of the 2 that we've had, this is a much more competitive argument here. I love X. I think X is going to be a phenomenal player this year. With that said, I think if he played a different position, if he played corner, if he played edge rusher, then I think it would be a little bit easier for me to say, okay, let's go Xavion Alford as the best overall defensive player. But I think in this case, I've got to go with the running backs going for over 2,500
Totri just called the safety position unimportant.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Not unimportant.
Not a premium position.
It just doesn't.
Anthony Totri hates safeties.
In terms of,
I'm telling Derwin James.
You're gonna tell Derwin James? Dude, don't tell him that. That's messed up, man.
What do you think, Shane?
This one's a total toss up because I think your offense is going to look a lot different. I mean, your offense is obviously going to look a lot different, but like the passing game is going to be way, way different this year. So I don't know if you necessarily need that type of production. Hell yeah, it would be nice. Hell yeah, it would help the passing game. I don't know if you need it because you know who else is probably going to run a lot more? Sam. He's going to account for a lot more yards, I bet. I think I'm going to go X here just because like he was close to being one of the best players in the Big 12 last year, but to be the best like individual defensive player in the Big 12, you got to be special.
Yeah.
And that also means statistics. Xavion Alford had an unbelievable season last year, but if you just look at his box scores, you wouldn't be able to tell how impactful he was. The box scores are good. They speak for themselves, but you wouldn't be able to tell how impactful he was. Being the best defensive player in the Big 12 means production with the intangibles, but also production with statistics.
Yeah.
And I mean, if he gets 4.5 sacks and 5 interceptions and then leads the team in tackles and leads the Big 12 in tackles for loss or something ridiculous like that, like then yeah.
I think I'm leaning X too, because to say that you have individually the best singular defensive player in the Big 12, when you know the rest of your defense is going to be really, really good, like we're talking about somebody who's going to be then contending for like an All-America team, right? Like somebody who's going to be considered one of the best defensive players in the country. If you're the best in the Big 12, you're top 5 player in the country probably, especially at your position. Like as much as I love the running backs and I think the running backs are going to be important, I do think that there's so much else to this offense, which I guess there's also the argument to the defense, and there's going to be a couple more for both sides of the ball here. But I think if you have the chance to be the best individual player, so you're going with.
I'm going to go with the running backs.
What do you guys think? I haven't really been looking at chat through this one.
From what I could tell, a lot of people in the chat are saying running back just based off of the premium position argument that a running back is a little bit more valuable to the overall team than the safety position. But I do think Shane made a really good point with like statistically what that would do and what that could look like could be pretty dramatic. In terms of like the overall impact, especially if we're talking creating extra series for this offense and extra opportunities. But I still think I'm doubling down on the running backs just based off the fact that one great running back last year got this team to a CFP game. And now you're telling me there's an opportunity to have 3 all very close to 1,000 all-purpose yards. Not only what that does this year, and I know that's realistically like the point of this argument, but to have 3 running backs go for nearly 1,000 all-purpose yards would continue to push the narrative that Arizona State is trying to build like RBU in year over year, being able to really value this position in ways that other schools don't. To go from Cam Skattebo having over 2,400 all-purpose yards, and then we're talking in 2025, a CFP team has 3 running backs going for nearly 1,000 all-purpose yards of different eligibilities. Like that would be, I think, pretty crucial to like long-term development. But I'm outvoted here. You guys both said Xavion Alford, so that's
my final argument too. What I'll say is it's not like the running backs are combining for 2,000 and like having a good season. Like if they combine for 2,400, that's still excellent. So like 2,500 is a lofty goal. And so I wouldn't be worried if they didn't get to that point. I'd be worried if Xavion Alford wasn't the best player on this defense.
Yeah, and William in the chat saying that like the safety leading the team in tackles not a great sign. Defense is a group effort. I get that, but he doesn't have to lead the defensive tackles to be the best defensive player.
Safety, I'm pretty sure a safety, just off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure Myles Rouser led the team in tackles last year.
Myles Rouser led the team.
And Shamari Simmons led it the year before.
And Chris Edmonds maybe the year before. So I think the last 3 years, the safety has led.
A linebacker should be the position leading.
It also depends on the defense.
It depends on the defense. We know that Shamari wasn't playing a free safety role. He was a lot of times roaming and playing that sub linebacker nickel role. So it definitely depends on the circumstance. Well, I agree. Yes, if they're getting to the second level and that's where your safeties are getting their hands on people, then that's a bad sign. But if it's because of the position they're put in, it's not a bad sign.
I think I cooked with this one because I put a poll in the chat and it's 50-50 right now.
Wow. 50-50. Well, vote in the poll if you have not voted.
Okay, whoever votes next is going to be the tiebreaker.
Okay,
whoever
I voted. So.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's not fair. That's not fair. Okay, you know what? Well, okay, running backs is up 67 to 33, 70 to 30%. We can roll with the running backs. I think that's okay.
Are you writing these down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm not keeping track of that.
Yeah.
So running backs take it over Xavion Alford here.
Okay.
Which I think that was a good one. That was a much closer argument.
There's going to be a couple, like I'm looking at these future matchups I have, and like the next round, there's one that's probably going to be next round is going to be probably a blowout too. Let's go to the next one before we hit a break here on PHNX Sun Devils. I almost knocked this mic over. Quite simply put, Jesus Gomez.
That's it. Just Jesus Gomez
versus AJ Ia, best freshman in the country.
Wow.
Now, I think immediately you hear best freshman in the country and you think it's got to be that. But you think about how much an elite kicker, and that's what I think, that's why I just put Jesus Gomez. Like, we're just going to assume that he is an absolutely elite kicker for this team. Everything we've seen of him out of practice, his numbers at Eastern Michigan, his leg, his power, his accuracy. We're talking about having an elite kicker.
Yeah.
Versus AJ Ia being the best freshman in the country at the tight end position.
Now, while I think having the best freshman in the country would do ridiculous things for this program long term. And while it would be incredible to look at this at the end of the year and be like AJ Ia was the single best freshman in college football, like beyond quarterbacks, defensive players, etc., I think that would be great. You are set at the tight end position. You're good. I don't think you need to have the best freshman on this team to get close to your goal of another conference championship, a national championship, CFP. And what did we see last year in moments that Arizona State maybe could have closed the gap in the games that they lost, or at the end of the year when we're talking about that CFP game against Texas and the whole argument of like, okay, well, if targeting gets called, do they kick the field goal? What do we do? Like, you go from there. The kicker here, I think, is far and away what this team was missing last year. I think it's what you need to have this year. I think Jesus Gomez is going to be that guy regardless. To have it like solidified as yes, 100%, he's the dude. He's doesn't miss this year, or he's hitting multiple 50-yarders. What that would do for Arizona State offensively, defensively, like situationally, that would be, I mean, maybe a dark horse to win the whole thing. To be honest with you.
See, that's interesting, and not that I necessarily disagree with the fact that it should be Jesus Gomez here, but let me just play Sun Devil advocate here.
Play it.
Just a little bit. People are saying, oh, well, AJ Ia, buried in the depth chart. If AJ Ia is the best freshman in the country, period, he's playing.
Yes.
Like, he's playing.
Yeah.
He's getting a lot of snaps. He's getting a lot of touches. And we see with the raw physical tools that this guy has, the instant impact he's already had in camp, he feels like he's the most ready to play freshman there. I keep on hitting this microphone. It's like right where my hands are.
So it's because you unbalanced it somehow. Just let it lean against the chair. It's okay.
It's because I keep hitting with my hands.
Well,
I talk with my hands.
Stop doing that. Stop gestating.
I'm sorry, man. I can't stop gestating. I think it's a little closer than maybe some people are giving it credit for. But that being said, I also think this is like kicker PTSD as well. And the fact that we do have a Chamon who was an all-conference
and
tight end
Kamari
last year. And Kamari. I mean, if AJE is the best freshman in the country, he's at least your tight end too.
If he's best freshman in the country, he's starting by the end of the year.
Yeah,
because you're saying the best freshman, not just positionally. You're saying the best freshman. Yeah, go look at what Jeremiah Smith did and Ryan Williams did last year as true freshmen.
That's why I think people are jumping a little bit too. Like, I'm fine giving it to Jesus, but like in the country means like all of the best true freshmen.
It would be ridiculous
for every single team.
But to your argument about, early on in this show when we're talking on the whole Sam Leavitt, Heisman, and the Ben Coleman thing, just because you have one doesn't mean the other isn't good, right? And so I think if I can guarantee one of these things, if I can guarantee that Jesus Gomez is the guy at kicker versus like AJ being the single best freshman in a room that already has what is projected to be your starting tight end and your backup tight end, then I'm comfortable doing that. I'm comfortable taking the kicker that's going to help you win close games and do all that type of stuff when this offense is already pretty loaded with talent.
I need more clarification than what Jesus Gomez means.
Like, that's valid. That's a valid question.
He's good? Does that mean he's great? Like,
I think you assume that he's. I think he was great at Eastern Michigan. I think everything that you've seen in camp from him has been great. He has the power to kick from far out. He's got the accuracy. Like it would just basically be that you go from having a really bad kicker to like maybe not the best in the country, but a really great to elite level kicker.
Best kicker in the conference.
Okay, so if I don't pick this, what happens to Jesus Gomez? Is he just fine?
No,
he's gone.
It's the same thing that we said with Ben Coleman at the start of it, where it doesn't necessarily mean that he is not going to be great. It's just this is a guaranteed lock that he is
guaranteed that he's that guy.
I'm completely opposite of you guys. Do you know what best freshman in the country means?
And that's kind of what I'm saying.
That's what I said.
Okay. But do you know what that means? Do you know what? Okay, so it's
statistically, it would be like 75, 80 catches. It would be over 1,100, 1,200 receiving yards.
Okay, not that good.
What did Jeremiah Smith have last year?
Well, okay,
that's like the best freshman.
Let me talk for a second. So it's now called the Sean Alexander Award, Freshman of the Year. Last year, Caleb Downs won, or 2 years ago, Caleb Downs won it. Last year, Colin Simmons won it. And yeah, Jeremiah Smith, sure, but different positions. I'll give you a comp. You know who won it in 2021?
Was it
Brock Bowers?
Yeah, okay.
You know how many touchdowns he had?
12?
13. Can you imagine would you rather have 13 touchdowns or a really good kicker?
I'm taking the great kicker. Especially when we're already talking about this offense having so much around it.
Yeah, but
imagine if Jordyn Tyson had a Brock Bowers.
It's right, but it goes back to your argument with the running back, saying that this offense is going to look different and that you don't necessarily need that level of production this year because you have Sam maybe using his legs more. You have
want to be selfish.
Then you can be selfish and vote for AJE. You could 100% do that. I think when we're talking about the like comes down to the wire in a close game, what is going to help you more, having the best freshman in the country or having you're having the best kicker in the conference? I'm taking the best kicker in the conference, especially after what we saw last season. Like, are we forgetting that Kenny Dillingham, post-press conference, was banging on the table asking students to come try out for the damn football team?
Asking me to kick.
Like, are we forgetting that happened here?
But you're not telling me that Jesus Gomez is going to die. Like,
no, you're not telling me that, but you're guaranteeing me that he is a great kicker.
Okay, what if we just say he's good? Like significantly better than what you had last year. Reliable, but not
now we're changing it because you just wrote Jesus Gomez on there.
I know, that was my fault.
So we're saying, well, on one side, I don't think it's dramatic to say, like, on one side we have the best freshman in the country, and the other we have the best kicker in the Big 12.
Okay, we'll do that. Jesus Gomez, best kicker in the Big 12.
I'm taking the best kicker in the Big 12.
Best freshman in the country?
You can vote however you want. There's a lot of folks in the chat saying they want kicker.
The thing is, everybody in the chat is. I don't think I've seen a single person say Ia which is just, it's kind of crazy to me.
I think it just goes back to the sense that you have Jordyn Tyson, you have Jaron Hamilton, you have Malik McClain, you have all your running backs, you have Chamon. It's not like this
Imagine if you had Brock Bowers.
I agree, but this isn't like you're putting Brock Bowers on a team that is ass at tight end. You're putting you're talking about now taking away production from a second-team all-conference tight end, a dude in Kamari Anderson who's had maybe a top 3 fall camp of anybody at Arizona State over the last 16 practices, and you're taking away their production so that we can selfishly say, hey, I want an all-star at tight end, which, again, I think it would be like phenomenal for this offense, but I don't think if we're talking about the ultimate goal of getting you to a national championship, it's not like this team doesn't have any weapons.
This chat
on
makes
it.
me sick. I've never seen so many people standing
so much
kickers.
kicker love.
Okay, you know what? We'll go with Jesus.
I don't know if I've ever said this on the show. I actually believe this. This isn't just me throwing out a hot take. I don't think that scoring special teams should be part of football. I think it's stupid.
I disagree.
Yeah, I know, and I completely understand why people disagree. It's a very wild, outlandish belief. It's like I'm very far to one's political spectrum on this, and I completely understand that. I'm self-aware, but I can't stand it, and that's why I'm leaning this way. I have never seen so many
people. I honestly thought that I thought people were going to go.
I think you cooked here. I think you really did. I think you really did cook
so
here.
I think I might be cooking too much because we're only 3 in and we're like halfway through the show and we have 8 just in the first round. So let's take a break. We're going to probably have a long edition here.
Or are we deciding who won this afterwards?
I think
we're going kickers. We're going kickers.
I think that the chat is so overwhelming and we do this for them, not you. We do it for them. We're going to go with Jesus Gomez, and we're going to keep it going right after our first break. Just like every contender needs a reliable kicker, everybody needs a checking account. And if you need a checking account, why not go with Mountain America Credit Union, who is a proud sponsor of Arizona State University and the Fighting Jesus Gomez. Listen, take your finances to new heights with guidance from Mountain America. And I think that's the biggest thing. In today's day and age, it is hard to save money. It's hard to know what you should do with your money. And that's why Mountain America wants to help you out. Plus, you can visit Mountain America Stadium, which might be in one of these this or that later on in the show at ASU to experience a legacy. And Mount America supports hundreds of student athletes and the community. They will donate $250 to support university athletics for every Jesus Gomez field goal made or just field goal made. Provide $20,000 in scholarships to local athletes each year. Sponsor a shoe donation program to award brand new shoes to community members in need. Mount America is dedicated to guiding members and communities forward. Learn more at macu.com/ASU. Insured by NCUA. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Loans are on approved credit.
Look, just 10 days till you guys can get ready or get amped up for Arizona State's first game of the season at Mountain America Stadium. Maybe you're looking forward to those tailgates or you're looking forward to just getting into the stadium for the game. You probably need some brand spanking new merch ahead of the 2025 college football season. In Rally House, they have you covered. The go-to spot to shop for all your favorite local Arizona team gear with tens of thousands of products to shop from. Literally, I'm on rallyhouse.com right now. You just type in Arizona State to the search bar. 215 different pages that you guys can go to of just Arizona State merch. They've got Arizona State, like a mini folding table. They got koozies. They got mugs. They got shirts. They have everything that you could possibly imagine to up your game ahead of the 2025 college football season. Find your local Rally House location and shop their entire product assortment online at www.rallyhouse.com today.
Woo! Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Let's waste no time.
We're diving right back in, huh?
Our fourth matchup. This is going to be defense versus defense. This one I think is interesting because we keep on going, but doesn't mean they won't be good.
Yeah.
So I am actually pretty curious as to where people will go. It is Myles Ghost Rouser leads Arizona State in tackles, and Keith Abney leads the team in passes broken up and interceptions.
Where do you want to go here? I want you to start this off. I already know where I'm going, by the way, and I think this is very clear. I think it's Keith.
I think it's Keith, personally. I think there's a chance that, we're talking about the best player on this defense and everything going forward, and I think rightfully so. Like, we're talking about X and CJ fight. I think there's a real chance that by the end of this season, Keith Abney might be regarded as the best player on this defense, and I think he'd have to do something like this, which is lead the team in PBUs and interceptions. Ghost led the team in tackles last year.
He did.
We know how impactful he can be as well, and I think no matter what, whichever one we choose, either one of these is going to be very impactful for this defense. So I don't know if there's a wrong answer. I personally right now am leading Keith. Just because it's tackles versus like PBUs. And
Exactly. I think that's the difference for me here is I'm going Keith just because we're talking about tackles versus potentially turnovers. And I think again, Keith Abney is, if he does this, solidifying him as an island corner where you could just leave him out there by himself and, he's locking up opposing wide receiver ones. I think that's going to be huge this year again, going back to our argument that we had yesterday. Not really an argument, but discussion that this is going to be a pretty pass-heavy conference this year. I think being able to say that you have a lockdown corner in Keith Abney is going to be more important than sitting there and saying, I've got a safety that leads the team in tackles again. And again, like it goes back to just saying, just because one happens doesn't mean that the other doesn't. You know what I mean? And I think I'm taking Keith Abney here.
Any disagreement, Shane, or is this one's easy? Yeah, this one felt like an easier one. We were doing easier one. Okay, Keith Abney. Let's not spend too much time on that. This next one's gonna be painful.
This is a tough one, man.
Kenny Dillingham wins Coach of the Year, or Jordyn Tyson wins the Biletnikoff.
Wow, I'm very interested to see what the chat has to say on this one.
I think this one's easy.
Easy.
Yeah,
Yes.
He's going Biletnikoff.
No.
You're going Coach of the Year.
Yes, because
this is gonna be good.
Listen, because what does the Coach of the Year always have? It always has. They almost always win on the heels of a horrible season.
Yeah.
You know how good of a year you would have to be for Kenny to win Coach of the Year? Because it's National Coach of the Year, right?
Yeah, National Coach of the Year.
You know how good of a season you would have to. You would probably have to go undefeated and make the college football playoff, and then see what happens. Because you don't like. There are expectations for this team. This team would have to be in the top 5 for Kenny to win Coach of the Year. It wouldn't just be, oh yeah, you do the same thing as last year, you win the Big 12 championship and only lose 3 games. Like you probably go undefeated.
Yeah, Glenn says Coach of the Year means we went undefeated. Easy question here.
But you were leaning Biletnikoff.
I'm still leaning Biletnikoff because I think that's something
that might mean we're undefeated too.
That could, right? We're talking about a pretty loaded wide receiver, like just it's a great group of wide receivers currently in college football, not just like the ones that are supposed to go to the draft this coming year, but we're talking Jordyn Tyson's better than Jeremiah Smith, who Marvin Harrison a couple weeks ago said was going to be the LeBron James of football. Like we're talking about him being better than Ryan Williams, who's going to be a dog in the SEC at Bama this year.
Respectfully, I don't care how good Jordyn Tyson is this year if you have a chance to go undefeated.
But again, it's not saying that just because one of these happens doesn't mean that the other doesn't. I think that Jordyn Tyson would be doing something that nothing.
Yeah, but
this has never been done at Arizona State.
I get it.
Arizona State has never even had a finalist.
I get it
for the Biletnikoff.
I get it. But what did you say earlier? It doesn't guarantee, or it doesn't say anything about the other, but it guarantees one thing. Kenny winning Coach of the Year guarantees you only lose 1 game or no games. That's what that guarantees.
Yeah. I think that's fair. And remember, our argument here and what we're basing everything off of is what brings you closer to the ultimate goal, which is winning a national championship.
That's fair.
But
that's fair.
I think when you go to the Biletnikoff, right, and a Kenny Coach of the Year might mean, you're in the top 5, but that award is given out before the college football playoffs, right? Or is it after? I thought it was before.
I think it's after.
The national coach of the year.
I think all the awards are given out before the national championship.
So that's based off of like, I guess the regular season or like Big 12, and Big 12 championship is on the way, right? So I guess then the counterpoint and the counter argument is if Jordyn Biletnikoff,
wow,
if Jordyn
congrats
Tyson
on the marriage, Jordan.
is literally the best wide receiver in the country. Right, and what that does for this team on a game-to-game basis once you get down into the college football playoffs, right? So let's assume, like, if Jordyn Tyson's winning the Biletnikoff, it means that he's putting up how many yards this year?
Probably 1,500, 1,600.
1,600 yards, right? 15, 16 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like, insane production.
Close to 100 catches, probably.
Insane production, right? And that means in order for them to overcome what a Jeremiah Smith or what a Ryan Williams would do at an Ohio State or at an Alabama, you know that there has to be team success there. Like, that doesn't happen without an immense amount of team success. They might need to go undefeated for Sam Leavitt to win the Heisman or for Jordyn Tyson to win the Biletnikoff. to get that type of recognition, right? So when you go down to an individual game basis, if you're talking about you're going into the college football playoffs, right? You're going into the do or die scenario, a scenario that you did not have Jordyn Tyson last year. And we say they probably beat Texas if they had Jordyn Tyson. And you have, bar none, and that's what it has to be in order to beat those two guys we're talking about, bar none, the best wide receiver in college football, probably a Heisman candidate at that point as well.
In his own right, yeah, 100%. 100% he's a Heisman candidate at that point.
At what point then do you get there and say on an individual game basis, having that type of weapon, a top 5 pick in the draft, then that overcomes that? Not saying that that's necessarily my choice, because I get the Kenny thing, but I do think that that there is a legitimate argument.
I think it's 100% a legitimate argument. I think you bring up a good point that if we're talking about him clearing Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams in the Biletnikoff award, then yeah, his name is in that Heisman conversation. And if Jordyn Tyson is winning the Biletnikoff and in the Heisman conversation, then Sam Leavitt is also likely in the Heisman conversation. Yeah. We're likely talking about the greatest quarterback and wide receiver duo in Arizona State history at that point. If Jordyn Tyson is winning the Biletnikoff and we're in this scenario. So that's really what you're arguing here.
Yeah. And again, it's like, if we're like, again, the coach of the year is going to be given out off the regular season, and not that means nothing. And if you ask Jordyn Tyson, our chat's saying Jordyn Tyson's probably going to pick Kenny.
Probably.
Right? And Kenny probably is
going to pick Jordyn.
Right?
We could do that all day.
I do think that it's close. I wouldn't hate picking Kenny here.
I wouldn't hate. Where are you going? If you want one vote, Tyson or Kenny? Because chat seems a little split on this as well.
God, this is hard.
This is by far the hardest one. By far the hardest one.
Whoever came up with this was cooking.
We still think this is hard?
I think so.
Guys, guaranteeing an undefeated season or a one-loss season versus your wide receiver being one of the best players in the country, I don't think it's hard.
Do you think he's winning the Biletnikoff if this team loses 2 games?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Brother. What did we see last year? What did we see last year? The top 3 finalists for the Biletnikoff last year. Nick Nash for San Jose State. Terrell McMillan for U of A.
That's fair.
It doesn't guarantee wins at all. I think this is clear.
I think that might be the
if we're getting
ultimate point.
if it's genuinely based off of what is going to get you closest to a national championship, then Kenny Dillingham winning National Coach of the Year is the right answer.
Then let's roll with that. Then it's Kenny. Woo!
You're gonna be tough to find one that is gonna beat that in the conversation of this.
We will see. Okay. And maybe that is it. And maybe that's the biggest storyline, right? All right, let's go to our next one. This one, I would say definitely lower stakes, but it's another coach versus another player. Would you rather this or that? Chamon Metayer wins back-to-back all-conference awards, basically, for the tight end position, so makes it an all-conference Big 12 team. Or Marcus Arroyo and or Brian Ward win the Broyles Award for the best assistant coach in college football, something that Arroyo was a finalist for last year.
Yeah, for me, this one's pretty easy too. I'm going with the Broyles Award here, just in terms of what that would mean for one side of the ball would be massive for either this defense to have the coordinator be the best coordinator, pretty much best assistant coach in college football. That would be huge. Chamon, for this, it kind of goes back to what I said about the whole AJE thing. Like, this room is deep. I know there are a lot of folks that think that it's just Chamon and they're waiting for AJ to kind of pop off as the tight end 2 here. Kamari Anderson is a phenomenal tight end 2 option. Cameron Harpool does exactly what he needs to do in terms of blocking. This tight end room is set. I think in terms of any individuals walking out of this first round at the tight end position, it's not going to happen for me. I think Arroyo or Ward winning the Broyles Award is certainly a must-have here.
Shane, you and Totri have been disagreeing a lot off the bat.
No, this is clear. This is clear.
That's good. You need a couple. You need a couple.
You need a couple cakewalks.
Just to kind of get it moving. All right, so that's fine. So we'll throw Broyles Award winners in there. Okay, let's hit our next break, and then we have 2 more in the first round, and then we'll go down to our final 4 matchups, and then we'll have a final 2 matchup here on PHNX Sun Devils. We'll continue right after this.
Normally, I'm telling you to get your pure edibles ahead of the UFC cards, but you don't even got to worry about it this week because pure edibles, it goes great with college football. And that's what you got. You got week 0. We're talking 9 a.m. Kansas State, Iowa State. Where else would you rather be than on your couch with some uplifting pure edibles? Pretty much candy at this point. I'll tell you, that's exactly what I'll be doing. I know Damon Dog is going to be joining me for that. Get in on the action with pure edibles. The best part about pure edibles, in my personal opinion, is that they don't taste like weed. Sometimes you run into that with gummies where they just don't taste good. Pure, though, they taste like candy, and they're not covered in sugar like all of their competitors. I know Rubus loves the fact that they list the effects clearly on the tin. So if you want to indulge and you want to have a little bit of like a party vibe while we're watching college football, well, try the uplifting gummies. Or if maybe you need help sleeping, they got sleep support gummies as well. Go find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of the over 130 dispensaries across Arizona.
Write this down. October 31st through November 2nd is your last chance to catch championship weekend in Phoenix Raceway for a while, because NASCAR is taking championship weekend on the road starting in 2026. So it's your last chance to experience cars roaring by almost 200 miles per hour, witnessing 4 champions crowned in just 3 days. And the best part is, if you're a NASCAR fan or you're just there, you get the best access in sports with small ticket upgrades. You're in the Desert Diamond Casino infield experience, up close to the garage, meeting the drivers, walking the track, catching the pre-race concert, but of course, the coup de grace, the piece de resistance.
Wow.
It's the race.
It's the race itself.
At Phoenix Raceway. And to make things even better, it goes down on one of the best tracks in the NASCAR circuit. It's beautiful. We were there last year at Phoenix Raceway, literally in a mountain. It is beautiful. So don't miss your chance to win this NASCAR Championship weekend in person, coming to Phoenix Raceway October 31st through November 2nd. Tickets for Sunday Series Cup Championship race sell out every year, so move fast. Tickets, hospitality upgrades still available as of right now. Get yours now at the link in our show notes.
I feel like we were Migos there for a second. You read that, I was like, vroom.
Remember?
Great.
I like that.
Beautiful.
Remember Sean and I used to do that during ad
I think
reads?
so. Yeah. It got so annoying to the point where there was one time where they were starting an argument. They started an argument in the middle of an ad read, and we went through it. And then afterwards, I had to read the CTA after the argument. It was like a 4-minute ad read just because they were arguing and doing that. It was tough.
Raceway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Raceway.
Vroom. Going fast.
Sidebar,
right. Real quick. Don't stop running.
Double sidebar.
Yeah. Don't stop running. Triple sidebar.
There's a Quavo bar where he says, "I go a mile a minute," and it sounds really cool. And then you think about going a mile a minute. It's just 60 miles an hour, so he's just following the speed limit.
He's like following the speed limit on the freeway.
Keep running, guys.
I follow rules. Rules.
Don't stop running.
No speed.
Keep going.
Next one.
Fast,
but not too fast.
I hope if you are running, especially, you're like at the gym on a treadmill, I hope you're just yelling out your answers. Like, I hope you're just screaming like,
people are probably looking at you funny.
Kenny Coach of the Year. Okay. This next one is another offense versus defense. This one is Jaron Hamilton, 900 plus receiving yards, and it's CJ Fight boosts his draft stock is the second one. So not ASU sells at every home game.
I don't know what happened there.
So he boosts his draft stock to what?
To a day 2. So
he's a second or third round defensive tackle.
Day 2.
Or Hamilton goes for 900 receiving yards.
Or Jaron Hamilton goes for 900 yards. So offense versus defense. Your wide receiver 2 versus widely regarded your second best player on the defense. CJ Fight is a early day 2 draft pick, or Jaron Hamilton gets close to the 1,000-yard point for Arizona State's offense.
This one's pretty easy for me. I'm going to go ahead and say the CJ Fight boosts his draft stock. I think this is going to be really, really important when we're talking about college football playoff. It's kind of what we saw against Texas last year, that there's just a difference in the trenches, right? Offensive line, defensive line. Now, I think it was much closer in the second half of that game, which we saw, than the first half. I think if we're talking what's going to get Arizona State closest to winning a national championship, I think having a real defensive tackle that we're talking about being an NFL caliber guy going in the second or third round, I think that would mean a lot more than having a wide receiver go for 900 additional yards.
I don't disagree with you. I also think, though, because, again, we're going through the argument, if it doesn't mean that they're going to be bad if they do this. I think that if you have a certified number 2, as far as your receiving core goes, I think that is the most important kind of missing piece of this offense right now is like, who is going to be your number 2 option? Is it going to be one of the running backs, right? Is it going to be Chamon, who's a little bit more of like, hey, you're going to be our security blanket? If it's big play Jaren Hamilton, like I think that's something to where it's like maybe that does kind of cascade into Sam Leavitt's success and this offense's success versus for Fight. It's like we know that defense is already going to be solid, even that defensive line, which we'll talk about here in a second. I would lean Fight, but I don't think it's a blowout. I think if Jaren Hamilton is getting close to 1,000 yards this season, this is one of the most prolific offenses in all of college.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with you there. I'm just, again, going based off of your argument, or not your argument, but the ultimate goal here is to win a national championship.
Sure.
If you want to win a national championship, odds are you're going to have to beat one of the cream of the crop teams in the SEC when you get to that playoff game. You're not going to do it without a premier defensive lineman. And that's not to say that none of these guys can't be premier defensive linemen, but if you're giving me a sure thing, 2nd round pick in CJ Fight, I'm taking that guy over a wide receiver that could very well, without having the guarantee, could get 600, 700, maybe 800 receiving yards.
What do you think, Shane?
Well, I just think there's an inherent flaw in this game.
Thanks, man.
Just because, no, it's a great conversation, but just because, I just realized I didn't turn this light on.
Yeah.
I was wondering why you're looking so dark. Let me do that real fast. Watch this, guys.
I feel like I'm still looking kind of bright, though.
There we go.
Wow, there we
really
go.
bright.
Now you're white as hell.
I look like a ghost.
Anyway,
doing it while he's talking.
The inherent problem with this game is that I just don't understand, because I think I don't think there's a world where CJ Fight doesn't boost his draft stock, because he's just gonna keep getting better.
But to a day 2.
To an early day 2 pick.
I don't think there's a world where he doesn't do that. Like,
you don't
early.
So
day
you
2
think it's by the end of the year we're talking CJ Fight's probably a 2nd round draft pick.
Yeah, I just. But what I'm even less confident in, or what I'm not confident in, is Jaren Hamilton going for 900 yards. I don't see a world where that happens.
I mean, I see a world where it happens. I don't think it's likely to happen.
It's way less likely. So what I keep leaning to is the less likely thing.
Yeah, that was your AJE thing.
Yeah.
Your AJE argument.
No, that wasn't my AJE argument.
It was kind of. It's way less likely to happen than Jesus Gomez just being a dog.
Just being Jesus Gomez.
But that being said, like, the more important thing is CJ Fight dominating. You don't need another receiver that's going to go for 1,000 yards.
Yeah,
because I think you're going to have one, if not 2.
Chat's pretty split for the most part on this. I did see a lot of CJ Fights in there as well. Where are you going?
I would lean Fight.
I would
lean Fight on this, just because
sweep here.
If he is a day 2 pick, then you are talking about an all conference player.
Yeah,
you're talking about something on that defensive line, and the final one here, which can kind of parlay into this, is like, being that good is going to help the rest of your defensive line fix one of the few things that you look at in this defense and say, yeah, you need to improve on that going into next year. So let's just go ahead and roll into our final one in the first round here.
Our final first round
matchup, 50 minutes into the show.
We're not 50 minutes in.
We're like 45 in. The defensive line.
Wow, we're just cruising here, huh?
Welcome to the show. Defensive line improves getting pressure on the quarterback, or ASU sells out every single home game.
Well, this goes back to the logic of the game. What's going to help you win a national championship?
I was struggling to pick number 16.
What's going to help you win a national championship? I think it's probably going to be the D-line improving pressure.
If we're talking about for the future for 10 years, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
To have that.
How important is let's just take the national championship thing out of it. How important is that this year? The ASU sells out every home.
Well, if they don't do it this year, then they're never going to do it.
Yeah, that's probably a legit argument.
So it's pretty damn important. Be pretty sad.
I think they will do a very good job this year in terms of attendance. I don't think that'll be an issue. Regardless, I think the pressure on quarterbacks, again, if I'm going on something that I can get as a sure thing, I'm going on maybe the one thing on the defense last year that you could raise questions about, and that was getting pressure.
Plus, there are two things that are eating themselves again. Like, if the D-line is good, this team is better, more people come to games. So,
yeah,
that's valid.
No, I don't disagray. This one's the D-line. I was just struggling to find number 16.
Yeah. If more people come to games, it's not like CJ Fight and and Clayton Smith get better. They might marginally, but I think one is way more impacted than the other.
All right.
Or we got a clean sweep there.
I think so. I mean, listen, it's not that selling out isn't important, but if as far as like winning a national championship this year, you're not playing at home. So it's
you may for one CFP game. That's a lot
Fiesta
more
Bowl.
likely this year.
Yeah.
No, not even the Fiesta Bowl. You'd host because you're because the 1 through 4 now is who's ranked 1 through 4.
If you're ranked 1 through 4.
If you're ranked 1 through 4, then you get a bye.
Yeah.
So there's a real chance though that ASU this year maybe gets ranked 6, 7, 8,
and
then would host a CFP game, which would be, I mean, the turnaround. I mean, I'm not
pretty cool. Okay. All right. So this is what we're gonna do now. So we're gonna go down and take the 8 that are remaining, and we're gonna pair them against each other, and then we'll have a final 4.
We got 4 matchups.
Okay. So lock in for an extra long edition of PHNX Sun Devils. So let's go back to where we started. Sam Leavitt winning the Heisman to where we ended. The defensive line improving at getting pressure on the quarterback.
Okay.
So Sam Leavitt winning the Heisman versus defensive line improving on pressuring the quarterback and getting sacks.
I think, again, for the ultimate goal here, if he wins the Heisman, we're saying you have the best player in college football. I'm going to go with Sam Leavitt on this one. I don't think this one's particularly close. I think the D-line improvement certainly would help the team. Like Bees is saying D-line in the chat, but I think if you have an opportunity to take the Heisman Trophy winner, you're going to take the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, that's the thing. And Zachary in the chat saying D-line too. You need your D-line to improve on getting pressure to the quarterback. And maybe it's because like, hey, like kind of Shane's argument of like, we know what's kind of more likely versus not, where it's, we think that even if Sam Leavitt doesn't win the Heisman, doesn't mean he's not a Heisman contender. It doesn't mean he isn't the best quarterback in the Big 12. The defensive line is one of the few things going into the season that even with all the returners, you're having these questions about like, can they improve and can they be better at that? Even the defensive line themselves, like Clayton Smith saying that to us at Big 12 Media Day. So I think it's not a complete blowout like it was, I feel like Leavitt versus Coleman, but in the same sense, we're talking about the Heisman.
Time to make fun of the Ruby game again. What is improvement?
Being better at bringing down the quarterback.
Yeah, but how much? Because how far away was Sam Leavitt to a Heisman last year?
Significantly.
Very far.
Yeah.
But like, how much are they improving? Are they improving?
Time to make fun of the
best
Ruby
in the
game
big
again.
Best unit in the Big 12.
Best D-line in the Big 12 statistically.
Wow.
That's a big improvement.
Yeah. But it's not
Sam would be a big improvement
Yeah,
too.
but it's not bigger than Sam. And even if Sam's wasn't that big of an improvement, if you have the best player in college football, like,
you're getting closer to an A.
You don't win a Heisman without W's.
No, that's true. But somebody, I think it's David in the chat, says, but when was the last time the Heisman won a national championship? Just because you are a singular great player.
When was that?
I don't know.
It
I have
can't
no
be
idea.
that long ago.
I think it's longer than...
I'll look it up. You guys continue talking and being pretty.
I think if we're gonna kind of do it and just say
I'm going Leavitt.
Best defensive line in the conference, which means one of the best in the country. Think about again. I'm gonna go with Leavitt, but let's just play a little devil's advocate here because we're really short on time. If you have the best defensive line in the conference, and we also assume that you have the best secondary in the conference, or one of, with some of the best individual players, and we just spent an entire show yesterday talking about how the linebacker group is one of the most underrated on this team and can be one of the best in the conference. How suffocating does that make your defense? Like, are you talking about a top 5 defense in the country at that point? And what do we also say? What wins national championships? What wins championships across all sports?
Devonta Smith. Yeah.
Defense.
Yeah. Sorry. I was reading a comment in the chat.
If your defensive line is the best in the Big 12 and the rest of the defense is as good as we think it is, does that translate more to winning a college football playoff game than having a Heisman quarterback?
Devonta Smith was 2020, and then the year before was Joe Burrow. So it's not like crazy rare, but
it's been about half a decade.
Yeah, which is gross to say it like that, but yeah.
Then Derrick Henry, and then Jameis Winston.
I'm taking Sam. I think it's
Sam, 100%.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Like a great D line's great, but like
if it means
I'm taking the best player in college football.
I'm just changing all the rules here. If the great D line means that they're a top 5 defense in the country, do you change your mind?
No, I'm still taking the best player in college football. That's going to be a tough one to beat. I already know what our final is going to look like. Probably
top five defense in the country that's pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy. I'm taking the best player in college football.
That's just a lot closer.
Yeah.
Okay, so cool. I'm fine with Sam. I don't disagree with Sam. I just want to play a little devil's advocate here. All right, the next one is the running backs combined for 2,500 all-purpose yards versus CJ Fight boosts his draft stock to be an early day 2 pick.
This one is pretty easy for me. I am going to go ahead and take the CJ Fight boosting his draft stock to a second or third round pick. Again, I think when we're making the argument of you're getting down to the wire in the CFP and you're playing, in Ohio State, or you're playing at Texas, or you're playing at Bama, you are going to need those big guys up front, and to have a surefire guy at D tackle, I think that's going to mean a lot more to this team in terms of trying to win a national championship.
Chat disagrees with you.
Chat does disagree
Glenn
with me.
and William both saying running back easy. You don't even think it's close.
I don't think it's close because, again, we're going off the logic that just because one of these, we're taking the lock, right?
It's a lock.
It's not the other way around saying, oh, these things don't happen. Now, I don't think 2,500 yards is going to happen for these three running backs combined. But I think these running backs are certainly going to be very capable of replacing a good chunk of Cam Skattebo's lost production this season without making it a lock. I'm much rather taking the goated defensive lineman in CJ Fight to be a second-round draft pick. I think that is just going to mean more, and that's just me. But, I think Chad, again, is a little split here. We started off quick with the running backs, but Bees, Zach, David.
I put a poll in the chat. Shane, what do you think? Fight or the running backs?
I mean, these are both two arguments where I was like, about, because I could see either happening, and I wouldn't be too shocked. I think I'd probably be more shocked if the running backs got to 25, so I would go with that.
Okay.
But, again, how much is he boosting his draft stock, and what does that mean? I know we said day 2, but what does that mean? Does that mean he has 3 more sacks?
If he is a second-round D tackle, then he is one of, if not the best defensive lineman in this conference.
As a true
as
junior.
An interior DT.
As a true junior.
As a true junior.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you need way more help there than you do on offense. So
I think it's just going to mean more.
I think it's CJ Fight.
In terms of winning the CFP, having a great D tackle, I think, will mean more to you beating an SEC type team than having 3 running backs do crazy numbers.
My argument for why I even opposed the 12-team playoff was because of the ass kickings that happen when an SEC team plays any other conference because of the trenches, and that's the parity has gotten. It's way easier to upset a team in college football now than it was even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's still you just don't see SEC beef anywhere else than SEC country. You see occasional CJ Fights here and there, but they also don't have that raw strength. If CJ Fight can club a SEC center and get past him with a swim move constantly, then that's a huge deal. So, yeah.
We're talking about, and this is this past year in the NFL draft, the second-round defensive tackles. We're talking about the type of player that CJ Fight would ultimately rise to. A TJ Sanders at South Carolina, an Alfred Collins at Texas. Those appear to be the only 2 early defensive tackles. Omar Norman-Lott from Tennessee, Shamar Turner at Texas A&M. That's the type of
Omar, man.
That'd be the type of DT that you're getting, like an Alfred Collins type of player.
Why didn't Omar stay?
Because
Burrito Express.
Yeah,
couldn't have given him.
I'm taking CJ.
Chat is torn 50-50 for Fight versus running backs here.
What are you going with?
Man,
Ruby tiebreaker. Ruby breaker. Breaker. Ruby.
Rheumatoid arthritis.
I'll go with Fight, but
it's close.
I think a literal hair. This is tough. And if you think about it, this matchup would have been X being the best defensive player in the Big 12 versus CJ Fight. Which I think even that is an interesting conversation as well. I'm okay going Fight, but I honestly don't feel great about it because getting Cam Skattebo level of production from your running back room when you already expect this leap from Jordyn Tyson and another leap from Sam Leavitt this year, how do you stop this offense?
Okay, well let me leave you with this. It's 4th and 13 in the Peach Bowl. Does another 100 yards from your running back make a difference, or does a sack on 4th and 13 make a difference?
You're the worst person.
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
suck.
saying. I'm just
You
saying.
really
You're the
suck.
worst
Does a
person
sack on
ever.
4th and
really
13
suck.
make? Is that what you would you rather have the one sack, or would you rather have
I
100
just-
yards more from Cam Skattebo?
I just that's so Raymond. Like I just had a
Yeah, it
complete
sucked.
flashback. Actually,
Glenn
she was seeing
says-
into the future.
Glenn says you want one more sack a game over 125 rushing yards a game. It should be running back.
Glenn, love you. Appreciate your support. That's a dumb comment. You're looking at CJ Fight and saying he's just good for one sack. CJ Fight is
Also, screw it. Yeah, sure. Let's say that's it. We're talking about an interior defensive tackle finishing the year with 12 sacks. Yes, I will take that.
That'd be stupid.
He's a first-round defensive tackle if he's getting 12 sacks.
Yeah.
Like, that's 100% what we're taking here.
All right, we'll go with CJ Fight. Okay. Next up on the list is quite simply Jesus Gomez
dude.
versus the Broyles Award winners.
Jesus Gomez versus the atomic weapon.
Jesus Gomez versus Brian Ward or
coughing-
Marcus Arroyo
Coughing baby versus Jesus Gomez.
win a Broyles Award.
Well, this is a great question to answer as we hit overtime. If you guys are watching on TV, of course, the party always continues at gophnx.com.
The least shocking overtime of all time.
Jesus Gomez
Versus
versus
Broyles Award winner for
Broyles.
either Marcus Arroyo or
What are
Brian
you
Ward.
saying here?
I mean, listen, man, like team success comes with Arroyo or Ward, right? And I think that's really important. But I swear if chat switches up on Jesus Gomez after going crazy for him over getting a Brock Bowers type season from AJ Ia, I mean,
Chat's already
going, like, isn't that kind of crazy?
No,
Shane?
it's not because
abandon ye kicker.
because coordinator success is team success.
Yeah.
Like I loved the idea of having Brock Bowers on my team more than I loved Jesus Gomez, but I loved the idea of having one of the best the best coordinator in the country on my team than having Jesus Gomez even more. Like this feels like a no-brainer.
This one's easy.
But
You're
fine.
picking. You're
the
picking.
next one's going to be easy. too.
You're picking the best coordinator in the country or the best kicker in the conference. I'm taking the best coordinator, offense or defense. Doesn't matter to me.
The next one's going to be easy too.
That really was Jesus Gomez. No, that was Arroyo and Ward versus
what
a coughing baby.
What a hell of a run though
From
for
Jesus
Jesus Gomez. That first round.
Yeah, that first round was a
I
blowout.
thought Jesus Gomez was taking us to the finals here, guys.
Okay, so this next one is Kenny Dillingham Coach of the Year versus Keith Abney leading the team in PBU's interceptions. It's Kenny.
Yeah, I think
It's
it
Kenny.
would have been a different argument if we're talking Keith Abney leading the country in PBUs and INTs, maybe. But still, at the end of the day, Kenny Dillingham winning Coach of the Year means you probably won undefeated. It gets you a lot closer to winning the national championship or playing in that national championship than Keith Abney simply leading the team in PBUs and INTs. I think this one's a cakewalk.
Glenn says, calling us crazy, we don't think Ia is going to have a Brock Bowers type year is crazy. I'm not saying that you guys, of course we don't think AJ is going to have a Brock Bowers type year, but that's basically what we were saying, best freshman in the country. Never mind, we're moving on. I don't care. I wasn't calling you guys crazy for not believing
Eric,
that would happen in real life.
Gaslight him, chat.
Yeah.
I am getting gaslighted.
Sharon, get him.
Gaslight the arthritis.
Let's go. Continuing with the Broyles Award. Let's
Sounds
do coaches.
like a really bad grunge band.
Coaches versus coaches.
Coach
Kenny-
on coach crime.
Kenny Coach of the Year versus Broyles Award winning Marcus Arroyo or Brian Ward.
Where are you going?
It's Kenny.
Yeah, it's Kenny. It's Kenny, and it's not close.
So Kenny advances to the final, unless Shane strongly disagrees.
No, Shane.
Okay.
Shane's gonna vote Kenny winning it the entire time,
So
which I think is valid.
Let's decide who's going to face Kenny Dillingham winning Coach of the Year in the finals. Is it Sam Leavitt winning the Heisman or CJ Fight boosting his draft stock to an early day 2 pick?
I mean, despite the journey that we've taken, we knew from the jump which two were going to be seeing us in the finals, and it was always going to be Sam Leavitt winning the Heisman and Kenny winning Coach of the Year. I don't think.
So let's talk about it.
I think Sam
Whoa,
Leavitt.
whoa,
I think.
whoa,
I think
whoa,
Sam
whoa.
Leavitt.
You tried to get Kenny Coach of the Year out of here first round.
Did I?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah,
I
Kenny
did.
Coach
I
of the
did.
Year
I
versus
did.
Jordyn
I
Tyson.
did.
I had to
And
fight
I think
both
Tyson-
of you guys.
I think Tyson would have been right here. I think that's also like
That was a first round matchup.
that was
could have been a
that
finals.
could have been a final matchup.
Whoa.
I think it easily could have been.
Okay, so Sam Leavitt wins the Heisman versus Kenny
We need
Dillingham.
this as a poll in the chat.
I got you. versus Kenny Dillingham Coach of the Year.
I mean, chat's going Sam.
I think
all the way.
that was the other one. I think that was the other one.
I think they're answering for Sam versus Fight.
Okay.
Where are you going, Shane? I want to see where you stand on
easy.
this.
It's Coach of the Year.
Easy.
Yeah, because who won the Heisman last year?
Travis Hunter.
How many games did they win?
Okay, Kurt Signetti won Coach of the Year for Indiana. They got bounced on their forehead in the first round of the college football playoff game.
Bounced on their forehead's fire. Yeah, but still, like, you have to understand, where did Kurt Signetti come from? What did Indiana do the year before?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What did ASU do this year?
No, I agree with you. But that all that does is that's where this is a different argument for me. Because we are saying what gets you closest to winning a national championship. 12-0 gets you to the CFP. I don't think having a Coach of the Year automatically gets you to the national championship. Not that having the Heisman automatically does, but I think having a Heisman level player
gets you to the Alamo Bowl.
I think it gets you a lot closer.
I don't think it does.
I think it gets you a lot closer.
Again, we're talking about like
more of a guarantee.
It's the same argument for Jordyn Tyson, where it's like, when it gets down to it, we're talking about basically guaranteeing that you get there versus when you get there. It's like, if you have the best player on the field.
Yeah.
Right? Do you have the best player on the field when you're in the college football playoffs? If you have the Heisman, the answer is yes. Right? But to Shane's point, just because you guarantee a Heisman doesn't mean that you're there.
No, you're right.
Even though it feels like in order for Sam to get that recognition, in order for Sam to get picked, he's going to have to win that amount of games.
Zachary says in all caps, "Give me Fight in a D-line." Hey man, I love the fight for CJ Fight.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just leave it at that.
If CJ, somebody commented this in the chat, I was actually thinking it earlier when I was making the graphic that actually didn't even have CJ Fight's name in it. If CJ Fight becomes as dominant as we think he is, I'm going to petition Erik Weedham to get us a Fight for Your Right to Party shirt.
Yeah, I think that would be great. That would be absolutely amazing.
I just like, again, you talk about elevating their game. Sam Leavitt elevating to a Heisman level would be extraordinary. But what you have to do to win Coach of the Year on the heels of a CFP berth is ridiculous. You would have to not only probably go undefeated, but be dominant in the Big 12. And it wouldn't be close. People would have to fear you. People would look at you in the college football playoff and be like, I don't want to play this guy. It wouldn't be like Kurt Signetti, because Kurt Signetti was serving sandwiches at a deli shop the year before, and then he went to the college football playoff.
I mean, Sam would be the first overall pick.
Who cares about what happens after
college
football playoff?
That means he is valued as the best player in college football.
Sure.
I'm taking the best coach. They don't play the game. I'm taking the guy that is on the field throwing the damn football.
But what gets you the Coach of the Year? It's success on the field. It's not individual accolades. It's success on the field.
Yeah.
So
they're both individual accolades, though.
No.
They are. They absolutely are individual accolades.
No, not in that sense. I'm not individual accolades, meaning statistics and players and passing touchdowns. That's what I'm talking about. What gets you the Coach of the Year is team performance, winning games, dominating games, being the terrifier when it comes to the Big 12. That's what Kenny Dillingham and ASU would be.
If you removed last year from the whole Heisman conversation of Travis Hunter, and you went back before that, how many Heisman winners have made the college football playoff?
A ton. It's got to be, right?
It's got to be a ton. It's got to be a ton. And especially now that we're talking in a 12-team format.
I know, but we're talking circumstantial. Like that's why this matters. That's why the Coach of the Year matters so much to me, because again, it's not like Heisman. It's the same thing every single year, because the Heisman Award, what it means is you are the best player in college football. It's the same thing every year. Coach of the Year and the way it's categorized is different every year, because you're not taking a guy who, like, you're not looking at Kirby Smart dominating, Kirby Smart dominating, Kirby Smart dominating, Coach of the Year, Coach of the Year, Coach of the Year. You're looking at what they did from last year to this year and how they went from last season to this season. Kenny Dillingham would go from being one of the best coaches in football to the greatest coach in football and having one of the greatest seasons of all time, because you don't just win that.
Yeah. I'm still saying Sam, but that's just me. That means it's kind of up to you.
It's down to me.
Chat's pretty split on this too.
Chat is split. I did put a poll in the chat. It's 53-47. So it's close.
Also, Travis Hunter, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams. Do you see anyone going to the college football playoff there?
They didn't.
Those were the last three
things.
Heisman winners.
Yeah.
I'm going Kenny.
I'm
going Kenny, but I do think that it's close. I think that Sam isn't necessarily like the wrong pick.
No, he's not the wrong pick.
But I think you don't get either of them without immense amounts of team success.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think if any of the things that I listed in this or that happen, then ASU is in a good place.
Great place.
Great place.
So Kenny Dillingham winning Coach of the Year
would be the greatest thing.
Is the most important storyline.
That's so silly to say out loud.
That is kind of stupid.
For Arizona, y'all, that's where we're at. Is most important for Arizona State here in this 2025 season to winning a national championship.
Saying the Heisman thing would sound equally as stupid.
Yeah,
Sam Leavitt winning the Heisman would be the biggest storyline.
I guess that's
it's
fair.
the question.
It's the most important storyline to a successful season.
The question is phrased wrong. The question should be, what gets ASU a national championship? What gets ASU closer to a national championship? Not what the biggest storyline is of the season. It would be what gets ASU.
Too late. That's where we're at now. Yeah. Kenny Dillingham winning Coach of the Year does it, guys. That's going to do it.
Dude, the poll's 50-50.
For today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devils show. If you enjoyed today's content, follow the show at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow that guy right there. That's Erik Ruby. Erik with a K. You can follow the Deli Man, making all the magic happen, at Shane Deef.
Defending my honor as always.
And we will see you guys on Thursday, same time, same place. But something to keep in mind, Friday's show will be early. We'll be going at noon this Friday and potentially every Friday for the remainder of the 2025 college football season. So keep that in mind. Special guests tomorrow, potentially special guests next week as well. So stay all tapped in with PHNX Sports.
Can you outro me again?
You want me to out you? You can follow the Daily Man at Shane Deef.
Making parents and kids fight as always.
Yes.
There you go. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. But in the meantime, go Devils. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.